Have you ever felt like a ship adrift, without sails or rudder, after the shipwreck of a relationship? That feeling that the coordinates of your life have disappeared, leaving only the vast ocean of uncertainty. Perhaps you've tried to patch up the sails with forced optimism, or ignore your inner compass, but the invisible current of sadness pulls you back. What if I told you that true anchoring isn't in finding a new port, but in rebuilding your own hull and hoisting a flag of unshakable resilience? Epictetus, one of the great Stoic masters, reminds us, it is not events that disturb us, but our judgment about them. Think about it. A breakup is an event. Like a wave hitting the shore, it happens. But the real storm, the one that assaults your mind and heart, isn't the wave itself, but how you perceive it, how you judge it, and how you allow it to define your worth and your future. Society, in its eagerness for quick fixes, bombards us with an arsenal of superficial cures. Forget quickly, distract yourself, find someone new. Or, even more destructively, it pushes us into a cycle of blame, whether blaming the other person for your pain or yourself for a perceived failure. This approach, like a band-aid on a deep wound, not only ignores the complexity of your pain, but robs you of the opportunity for genuine transformation. You feel trapped, perhaps in a labyrinth of anger, a fog of sadness, or a void so deep that no distraction can fill it. You are, in fact, fighting against the very nature of change and grief, and this resistance is your true adversary. This video will not offer empty shortcuts or promises of instant forgetting. Instead, it will be your guide through 5 Stoic pillars, a path forged in ancient wisdom that will fundamentally redefine how you understand and navigate the end of a relationship. Prepared for a healing that not only alleviates pain, but strengthens the soul, focused on your internal development and the construction of an unshakable self? If this resonates within you, comment acceptance below. Let's unearth your true strength together. Do you find yourself flipping through the pages of a closed book, reenacting dialogues, altering outcomes in your mind, or getting lost in what-if dreams that never existed? This battle against reality is the first wall preventing your serenity. You have been mentally exhausting yourself, convinced that if only you had uttered the right words, made the perfect move, or if the other person had been different, the relationship would have sailed to a safe harbor. You flagellate yourself with the whip of regret, or poison yourself with the gall of resentment, trying, somehow, to rewrite a script that has already been performed. This incessant rumination is a bottomless pit of wasted energy. The illusory belief that you can control the flow of time, the choices of others, or what has already solidified as the past, is the chain that imprisons you. It traps you in the pain and the mirage of a yesterday that no longer exists. Your refusal to accept the end as a fait accompli, a piece already played on the chessboard of life, is the deepest root of your prolonged suffering. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, in his Meditations, entrusted us with a timeless truth. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. He who governed a vast empire and faced countless adversities knew that the most crucial battlefield was the mind. Stoicism calls us to brutal clarity, to focus our energy only on what is under our direct control, our judgments, our choices, our virtues. The end of the relationship, the other person's decisions, events that have already passed, all of this lies outside your circle of control. To fight against this reality is to fight against the very fabric of the universe. It is a battle lost before it even begins. To begin untying these anchors today, follow these steps. First, become an astute observer of your thoughts. When the voice of "what if" or "I should have" whispers in your mind, pause. Acknowledge it, but don't invite it in for tea. Tell yourself firmly, this belongs to the realm of the uncontrollable. Second, practice the Stoic distinction with a visual exercise. Imagine a circle. Inside it, place your reactions, your interpretations, your actions. Outside, the breakup, the other's will, the past. Breathe deeply and consciously direct your attention to what is inside the circle. Third, use a journal as your silent confidant. Record each thought of illusory control and, alongside it, write a phrase. This has passed. I accept. Focus on embracing reality not as you designed it, but as it manifests itself. This is not passive surrender, but a demonstration of wisdom to channel your precious energy to where it can truly sculpt the future, within you. When you internalize this radical acceptance, the weight of anxiety from trying to rewrite the past or master the untamable will dissipate like mist in the sun. You will release an immense reservoir of mental and emotional energy, opening a sacred space for true healing to flourish and for a new dawn to rise. You will no longer be a hostage to the unpredictable tides of circumstances, but the chief engineer of your own inner peace, unshakable by any rough sea. But here's what almost no one understands about the pain we feel after a breakup. Most try to flee from it, as if it were a monster to be avoided. And this is a serious mistake. This escape, in fact, only amplifies the monster. This leads us to something even more powerful, an essential step towards true inner strength. Have you been conditioned to believe that feeling pain is a sign of weakness? That swallowing your tears or keeping a stiff upper lip is the essence of strength? That is a guaranteed recipe for emotional imprisonment. You have been dedicating yourself to a marathon of emotional avoidance, perhaps drowning yourself in incessant distractions, diving into work until exhaustion, or even more riskily, seeking a new relationship as a hasty band-aid. You interpret every wave of sadness, every peak of anger, or the emptiness of grief as a personal failure, irrefutable proof that your resilience is lacking. This repression doesn't make the pain evaporate. It pushes it into the dark depths of your psyche, where it gains strength and manifests in dysfunctional and corrosive ways, such as constant irritability, endless sleepless nights, or a cynicism that poisons every new experience. You unconsciously forbid yourself from experiencing the natural and vital process of grief, convinced that true strength lies in denial, when, in fact, it flourishes in virtuous and conscious confrontation. Seneca, the wise counselor, in his Letters to Lucilius, offers us a powerful metaphor. There is no strong tree that has not been buffeted by the wind. The Stoics were not insensitive machines. They recognized the existence of emotions, but taught not to be slaves to them, not to allow them to dictate the course of life. Initial pain, the first shock of a breakup, is a spontaneous judgment. Prolonged suffering, however, is our voluntary and persistent adherence to that judgment. To recognize the emotion, allow it to exist without merging with it, and process it with the courage of truth and the temperance of discernment, is the path of Stoic virtue. It is a process as natural as the rising and setting of the sun, and to resist it is to row against the tide of existence itself. To begin unraveling this wisdom today, dedicate a daily sanctuary of time, even if it's just 15 minutes, to intentionally feel. Find a quiet place, sit in silence, and invite your emotions to manifest. Observe them with the curiosity of a scientist, without judgment, like clouds dancing in the sky. Ask yourself, with gentle firmness, what is this emotion, this sensation in my chest, trying to communicate to me? Instead of pushing it away, explore its textures, its colors. Use a journal as a safe space to pour out your rawest feelings without censorship or filter. When the pain threatens to become overwhelming, anchor yourself in the present breathing, feeling the air enter and leave, a reminder that you are here now. Remember, feeling is not a certificate of weakness. It is proof of your humanity. True strength lies in processing this humanity with wisdom, without allowing it to control you or define your essence. When you allow yourself to embrace this process consciously and virtuously, pain will cease to be a shapeless monster in the shadows of your mental closet and will reveal itself as a rigorous yet just teacher. You will cultivate an emotional resilience that is not just a mask, but a genuine fortress capable of facing any adversity life presents to you, not by ignoring it, but by understanding it, integrating it, and transcending it. Your inner peace will not be the illusory absence of pain, but the unshakable ability to navigate through it with serenity, purpose, and newfound dignity. Processing pain, yes, is vital, but it's only the beginning of reconstruction. To build something new and lasting, you need to redirect your focus, not to what was lost, but to what is unassailable, your character. This leads us to something even more powerful, the essence of your inner sovereignty. Have you been feeling like an echo of what was, a shadow of the person you were within the relationship, as if your identity were tied to that broken connection? It's time to rediscover yourself, not in dependence, but in your unshakable virtue. You may, unconsciously, tethering your worth and self-esteem to what you possessed or represented within the relationship, or, even more dangerously, to the approval and validation of the other person. This externalization of your self-worth makes you a boat at the mercy of every twist and turn and tide of life. You launch into an incessant search for external validation to fill the void left by the breakup, whether through superficial compliments, fleeting new conquests, or the illusory hope of a return. This incessant search diverts your attention from the only place where true satisfaction, Stoic eudaimonia, can be found, within you, in the patient and deliberate cultivation of your cardinal virtues. You forget, amidst the turmoil, that your deepest essence is intrinsic, immutable, and not extrinsic, subject to the whims of the world. Epictetus, the former slave who became one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, declared with the wisdom of one who knows true freedom, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happened the way it happens, and you will be happy." For the Stoics, true happiness, eudaimonia, was not a state of fleeting euphoria, but a life lived in harmony with nature, which is to live according to reason and virtue, wisdom to discern, courage to act, justice to relate, and temperance to master oneself. These are the unbreakable pillars. Your deepest identity is not in who you were with, but in who you are and who you strive each day to become. Your character is your true home, and it is unassailable. To begin reorienting your inner compass today, start an honest inventory of your virtues. Which areas of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance do you feel the deepest desire to cultivate? Define concrete, small, daily actions for each. For example, for courage, it could be facing that difficult conversation you've been postponing, or starting a new project that takes you out of your comfort zone. For temperance, it could be moderating your social media time or practicing gratitude before each meal. Reconnect with hobbies and passions that perhaps were neglected during the relationship. Invest precious time in self-development, whether by diving into a transformative book, learning a new skill that has always intrigued you, or fervently dedicating yourself to your physical and mental health. Your identity, the true essence of who you are, must be built upon a solid and unshakable foundation of character, not upon the shifting sands of external circumstances or others' approval. When you redirect with intention and discipline your focus to your inner circle of virtues, you will become an unshakable force, a beacon of self-sufficiency. Your self-esteem will no longer be a puppet at the mercy of external factors, but a rock sculpted by your own integrity and your continuous effort to manifest the best version of yourself. You will emerge from the breakup not as someone who lost something, but as someone who truly found themselves, stronger, wiser, and more authentic than ever. If you are ready to break free from the chains of external validation, comment virtue below. Rediscovering yourself on the foundation of your virtues is powerful, but there's an even deeper step, a courageous dive that challenges everything you think you know about what it means to overcome. Do you cling to the idea that the breakup was a catastrophic mistake, a shameful failure, something that should never have happened? What if this distorted view was in fact preventing you from seeing the greatest gift that life in its relentless wisdom has bestowed upon you? You have persistently painted the end of the relationship as an indelible stain on your biography, a humiliating personal setback, perhaps even a cruel verdict that you are not good enough for love or happiness. This self-sabotaging narrative of failure not only prevents you from extracting the most valuable lessons, but also traps you in a vicious cycle. You cling to bitterness as a shield, to resentment as a constant companion, or to self-pity as a warm blanket, ardently wishing that things had taken a different turn, that the past could be rewritten. This stubborn resistance to what is not only prolongs your agony, but also blinds you to opportunities for exponential growth and profound self-discovery. These only flourish in the fertile soil of difficult experiences. You refuse to recognize and accept the essential role that this experience, however painful, plays in your evolutionary journey. Friedrich Nietzsche, the philosopher who drew so deeply from the Stoic well, coined the expression amor fati, love of fate. But before him, Marcus Aurelius already echoed this truth in his Meditations. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. For the Stoic mind, every event, every setback, every challenge is not a stumble, but a disguised opportunity for the practice of virtue and for the growth of the soul. The end of your relationship, far from being a mistake or a failure, is a neutral event. It is a blank canvas that you have the power to transform into a catalyst for your deepest evolution. Accepting it fully, not as a burden, but as an integral and irreplaceable part of your unique story. It is not just accepting, it is loving. To incorporate amor fati into your life today, start with a radical shift in your mental narrative. Instead of chanting the mantra, "It was a failure," reframe it to, "It was an experience that, though painful, taught me X, Y, and Z." Dedicate yourself to identifying the concrete lessons, the brutal truths, and the new perspectives you extracted from the relationship, and, crucially, from its end. Second, cultivate a field of gratitude for experiences, even the most poignant ones, for they are what forge the steel of your character. In your journal, list 3 things you learned about yourself, about relationships, or how you grew precisely because of the breakup. Third, visualize the breakup not as an abrupt and definitive full stop, but as a strategic comma in your saga, a necessary detour that will lead you to a new and more authentic chapter. Embracing amor fati means not only accepting what life presents to you, but loving every piece of your destiny, transforming, with internal alchemy, poison into medicine, loss into gain, the end into a new beginning. When you surrender to the transformative power of amor fati, the bitterness that once weighed on your heart will transmute into profound gratitude. You will come to see the breakup not as an irreparable loss, a gift disguised as adversity, a relentless driving force for your deepest and most significant growth. Your story will no longer be a lament of pain, but an epic of overcoming, wisdom, and resilience. And you will be ready with an open heart and an unshakable mind to welcome whatever the future holds, knowing that every experience is an essential part of your destiny. Loving your fate is the key to peace. But to solidify this transformation and become truly unshakable, we need to understand that every challenge, every setback, is training. The last principle will equip you with armor forged in experience for anything life dares to present you. Do you find yourself a hostage to the fear of the future, paralyzed by the doubt that you will never be able to rise again, or that happiness is a horizon that has receded forever? This is the exact mindset that Stoicism proposes to dismantle, transforming paralyzing fear into an inexhaustible source of strength. You may inadvertently be positioning yourself as a victim of circumstances, immersed in the belief that adversity is an unequivocal sign of bad luck, a cosmic injustice, or an undeserved punishment. Victimhood mentality not only weakens your ability to respond to challenges, but traps you in a vicious cycle of helplessness and inaction. You erect invisible walls, avoiding new experiences, new relationships, or even new projects, due to a paralyzing fear of reliving the same pain again. This excessive self-protection isolates you from potential joys, new connections, and, crucially, from the essential growth that life offers. You forget, amidst this search for security, that life itself is an uninterrupted succession of challenges and changes. True strength does not lie in avoiding them, but in using them as the sacred forge where an unbreakable spirit is forged. Marcus Aurelius, the wise emperor, gifted us with another pearl of wisdom in his Meditations. Adversity is the forge where character is forged. The Stoics, in their deep understanding of human nature, did not see challenges as insurmountable obstacles, but as training opportunities, as rigorous exercises for the mind and spirit. Every difficulty, however poignant, is a proving ground where you can test, strengthen, and refine your virtues. Wisdom to discern, courage to face, temperance to maintain balance, and justice to act correctly. A breakup, however painful it may seem, is an internal battlefield where you have the chance to prove to yourself your own innate capacity for resilience. To begin forging your resilience today, start with a fundamental reorientation of your perspective on suffering. Instead of asking yourself, with a tone of self-pity, "Why did this happen to me?" change the question to, "What can I learn from this? What is this experience teaching me about myself and about life?" Second, identify an area in your life where you can deliberately challenge yourself, consciously and intentionally. It could be starting a difficult project at work, learning a complex new skill, or intensifying your physical exercise routine. These controlled challenges are like weights you lift to build your inner fortress, your capacity to face discomfort. Third, practice negative visualization, a powerful Stoic exercise. Imagine the worst possible scenario for the future, without clinging to it, just as a mental exercise. And then mentally walk through how you would use your Stoic principles, acceptance, virtue, amor fati, to face it with dignity and effectiveness. This is not pessimism. It is mental preparation for the impermanence and uncertainty in life. Remember, every scar on your soul is a story of overcoming, and every pain, however acute, is a step that elevates you to a stronger, wiser, and more unbreakable version of yourself. When you embrace adversity, not as an enemy to be avoided, but as a master to be honored, the paralyzing fear of the future will dissolve like ice in the sun. You will rise as a person of unbreakable resilience, capable of flourishing in any environment, seeing every challenge not as an obstacle, but as a chance to prove to yourself the depth of your inner strength. You will not only overcome this breakup, but you will be prepared with unshakable serenity and indomitable courage to face any storm life presents to you, becoming truly the supreme master of your own destiny. We have reached the turning point of a journey that I deeply hope marked the dawn of your true healing. Together, we have traversed the 5 Stoic pillars that transform grief into power. We learned to accept what is not in your control, to acknowledge and process your pain with virtue, to refocus on your inner circle of virtues, to practice amor fati with the end of the relationship, and finally, to build resilience through adversity. Think of the person you were at the beginning of this video. You are no longer that soul desperately clinging to the past, repressing your deepest emotions, or exhaustively seeking external validation. The chain that bound you to suffering has broken. You are no longer a hostage to pain, but its attentive observer, its alchemist, and its transformer. The person you are becoming is unshakable in their purpose, authentic in their essence, and deeply connected to their own inexhaustible inner strength. They do not fear impermanence, but embrace it as an intrinsic part of life's dance. They do not flee from pain, but welcome it as a powerful fuel for their growth and evolution. This, my friend, is true freedom. This is true healing. If this video touched you, if it sparked a flicker of reflection and offered you a new path to tread, please leave a like. Comment below which of these 5 pillars resonated most with your soul at this moment, or share a small victory, a glimpse of acceptance you've already experienced on your journey. Share this video with someone you know yearns to hear this message of hope and genuine reconstruction. And to continue your journey of Stoic transformation, to forge an ever stronger spirit, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Together, let's build a life of unshakable purpose, profound serenity, and resilience that withstands any storm. Remember, peace is not the absence of storms, but serenity in the midst of them. Forge your spirit.